Hello and welcome to another quick look. Me, Game of 6 of another fur visual novel. This one, Before You Depart. Before we start, if you're interested in playing this game, you can get it for free on itch.io. But yeah, that's pretty much it. It's another one of these games which are completed, and I don't seem to see a Patreon. Yeah, can get on itch.io. So, before we start this game, let's read the synopsis. Canines are often companions for life. Some can even be companions in death. It's a safe work for a visual novel, which you know is a rarity when it comes to furry visual novels. But anyways, I digress. But player discretion is advised. Our story deals with heavy topics such as terminal illness, mental health, death, and grief. Guys, I guess we're dead? It do be like that. I guess that's the general synopsis of the game. I'm not sure if this is long, but let's give it the good old hour try. Oh, and if you want me to play this game, tell me, and I'll give it a point, which will put it up higher on the list, unless it's really short. At 3:05 a.m., during a dark and drizzly morning, I finally succumb to leukemia. Bugger. I would make a joke that I'm like the lead singer of some band, but I can't place a finger on it. I don't know a lot of bands. 4 years, huh? By the end, I wish I had only lasted one. I traced a finger over the corpse's cheek. Wait, I hoped it? Or maybe it's a lady? Nothing. No sensation in my fingertips, nor a depression in the flesh. There's only total numbness. I stood, feeling complete weightlessness. My feet felt no pressure against the floor. Oh, so I'm a ghost looking over my own corpse? I guess it do be like that. Along with my touch, my sense of smell is also absent. The air should be thoroughly drenched with a stinging odor of formaldehyde and embalming fluid. Yet, it was no more pungent than a glass of water. A mortician reached through my non-corporeal figure and dotted the body with several small metal discs. Mori Cabalis? Whatever. There was no one around when I finally passed. No one mourned me. No one wept. I wanted to know I meant something. That a part of the world was taken away. The mortician coughed and sprayed the air with a tinge of deodorant before he prepared the corpse for flames. That body, God, it doesn't even look like me. Milky skin, dilated eyes, a slack jaw barely covering the teeth, its limp hunk of meat that'll soon be ash. A tear dropped from my cheek and vanished into the floor. What am I even doing here? Is this some dying dream? Didn't I already kick the bucket? Or is this limbo? I mean, I guess it's better than the alternative, down there. Then again, spending an eternity watching the world go by as I remain some kind of apparition sounds like an idea straight out of Lucifer himself. I mean, if you can interact with other, ghost people, it might not be so bad. As long as there's an end to it eventually. Because it would kind of suck just being in the empty void of, heat, death, and all that. But, spending a year, tens, thousands, okay, hundreds, maybe not thousands, watching humanity go by might be a bit interesting. You could see the world. You could go to Italy. Who's gonna, make you pay for shit? Anyways, well, what else can I do? What am I supposed to? I guess also as long as you can go just wherever. I see the mortician prepare my casket for cremation. Seems like they'll be burning it all up soon. As disturbing as it is, part of me wants to see. Maybe I can phase into the oven and get a good look at the incineration of the body that once belonged to me. I wouldn't want to. I think it would look like popping and stuff. liquids and gases violently coming out. But maybe it's might be just like burning firewood? I don't know. Though I guess when you see a pile of corpses, at least in shows, there isn't lots of popping and stuff, it's just burning. Anyways, maybe it's for the best I'm dead. I turned away and walked towards the door. Instinctively, I reached for the handle, only for it to phase through my fingers. A classic rookie move. Still a dumbass in death. I walked through the door, across the hall, and through the wall, into the morning drizzle. It's filled with blood. Not a bad day to die, I guess. Weather's appropriate. I look up at the grogginess gray sky, and I could almost feel the faint dabble of water on my face. During a morning like these, I would curl up with a cup of coffee and simply stare into the endless white fog. I gazed at nothing in particular, just enjoying the blankness of the sky's canvas. I wandered outside the mortuary until I reached the garden. The spring rains had brought a drizzle, dazzling flower and bloom blossoms that adorned the edges of the pathways. They all lead to a tall fountain at the center. I approached the fountain and laid at its base. The pattering water provided a nice, soothing ambience. If this truly isn't some dying dream, nothing seems to stop me from going wherever I'd like. I wonder if they just forgot about me. Am I just a lone soul, consigned to wander around forever? It might actually be fun for a century or so. I dipped a foot into the fountain. As expected, no rip or chills. I couldn't rightly tell if it was actually submerged at first. If this is how I'm spending the afterlife, playing around with the fountain outside of some backwater mortuary. Do you enjoy the water too? Huh? A voice. Is someone there? I turned around and scanned my surroundings, but I didn't see anyone. Up here, sir. Wait, what? No, I have to say that he looks... I'm not really unsettled in general, but he does unsettle me a little bit. I don't know, is it kind of like a, the whole aesthetic looks familiar. No, like, would it be like Day of the Dead or something like that? I think of like some kind of old-timey cartoon. Like, something's post-Steamboat Willie, but like, maybe around the time of World War II or something. That's kind of a funny thing to think of. That's Chungus, Bugs Bunny whole thing. That was around when Hitler was alive, and it's like, wow. It's weird to think that that's that old. But anyways, what the fuck? I collapsed, facing partially into the ground. Just let me set my face. I mean, the sky's well-meaning and all, but the color contrast makes me like, ooh. What are you? Oh, I'm so sorry, Mori. I didn't mean to startle you. Let me hop on down. He's got brains and a big blooper. That thing threw himself off the statue and into the water. No splash. No, this has to be some sort of nightmare. Stay back, please. Just let me die, okay? Oh, you already did that, though. A few hours ago, actually, you finally passed away. So, don't worry, you're dead now. I can assure you. What the fuck are you talking about? The creature sighed and dragged his claw across his fur. He had shaggy, black fur. It waved delicately, as if exposed to a soft breeze. I probably should lean a bit closer, or maybe turn this down. I guess I am a bit farther away than I usually am back at home. Or my workstation, at least. Ghostly petals tapered from his sleeves and tail, whirling around the air for a moment before fading into oblivion. This demon knelt down in the water pool. He stared at me intensely with those hellish red eyes. I'm sorry, perhaps I should let you calm down first. You want me to calm down? I have no idea what's going on. You're dead. Well, as I mentioned before, you're dead. However, you haven't been taken beyond yet. You're in the in-between, as I call it. Taken beyond? Yes, where all souls go. Oh, how rude of me. I should have introduced myself. I am Memento, your reaper and guide into the after. It extended one of its paws towards me. I stared blankly for an uncomfortable beat before the wolf creature retracted his arm. I'm sorry. Was that inappropriate? I do apologize. It's my first day after all. Anyways. I apologize, Mori. I hope I did not offend you in any manner. You know my name? Of course. It would be rude not to. My nerves cooled a touch. If this thing meant to harm me, assuming that's even possible, it would have done so by now. It spoke in a hushed tone, almost reserved. It was like the whispers of the wind. Memento, yes? Yes, sir. Is there anything you require? Can we roll it back a bit? Because I have a lot of questions. Of course, ask away. So, you reaped my soul. You took it out of my body? Well, no, actually. What? I mean, that is my job. My handiwork is quite excellent. You will find no other reaper with a more refined skill, I assure you. However, I did not take your soul myself. Usually I'm supposed to, but this time, I just let the spirit leave the shell naturally. So, now you see me. Why? He's a reaper. My reaper. Why didn't he take my soul? What the hell is this guy about? God, if this is a dying dream, please just let me croak already. Why would you do that? I died hours ago, and only now you show up. Do you know what it's like gnawing at your own corpse? Or like what it's like gnawing? Or gawking? I meant nothing by it, I assure you, sir. It's simply, He looked away and scratched the back of his ghostly scruff. I wanted to ask you something. Huh? Me? You want to ask me something? He nodded. What can I possibly tell you that you wouldn't already know? You're some kind of Grim Reaper spirit, or whatever. What can I possibly do for you? Memento nibbled on his finger and looked anxiously to the side. I want to know what it's like. You want to know what's like? What's like to live? I've taken humans from all over the world to their final rest. The elderly, children, mothers, fathers, even newborns. I guide all of them to the end. So why'd you make me wait so long? Well, I just wanted to make sure you had time to process it all. I didn't want to jump in and bombard you with my inquiries just after you died. But why specifically me? Mento tilted his head, surprisingly pondered the question. I've done this for so long. My time with each human is short, perhaps a few months at most, but I always learn the most fascinating things. A mother once begged me not to take her from her family. She wept, cried, and cursed me. However, there was another time an elderly man embraced me with open arms. He thanked me for my arrival and walked with me peacefully. I am met with hatred, terror, disgust. Death must be terrible, or so terrible, yes? The end of your waking life, the end of everything? Yet, I met those who looked back fondly at their life. Those who seem content to leave. Those who are happy. Okay, so I guess a good question. Is the final resting place the final resting place like Oblivion, or is there stuff after? Also, sorry to digress again, but man, what was that one thing? Coco? It's a good movie. It's a very moving movie. It's an ugly crime movie at the end, but it is kind of a weird concept where it's like, yeah, when you die, you go to the afterlife, which, it's like de los muertos or whatever, and then when the last person forgets about you, you just kind of disappear, like there's two deaths. It's like, that's kind of weird. And nobody knows from what happens afterwards. Anyways. And it's those happy ones that make you may wonder, why? I still understand. There are people dying all over the globe at this very moment. Great scientists, people with families, war heroes. I mean, I'm just a 30-something screw-up who died young and alone. I'm no one. I live my life as no one, and I'll be forgotten. It's all the same in the end. Everyone's forgotten eventually. Anyways, I just thought it was the right time to pose my question. The right time? I guess I could have asked the last one, or the one before, or the one before. But I decided, memento, you're going to ask the next one, and so I did. It was quite difficult too. I had to plan my inquiry properly. So, you spend the last few hours just thinking of how you're going to ask me? When you put it that way, it does sound quite cowardly, I must admit. But I wanted to make sure you're comfortable first before I dropped this question to you. And seeing your reaction, perhaps it wasn't executed most perfectly. So you're asking me just on a whim? Out of the millions of people, I just so happen to be the one? That's about the extent of it, yes. What if I decline? Memento frowned and looked away. Well, then I'll simply take you beyond, like the rest. Beyond? What is there beyond? There's nothing to be afraid of. Memento's ears twitched. It's very peaceful. Peaceful? Yes, eternal bliss, some may say. And it's where everyone goes. I mean, that face right there is just absolutely terrifying looking. I nearly fell to my knees then and there. Eternal happiness? I will get to live in pure bliss for the rest of eternity? I thought it was almost too overwhelming. I would say I wouldn't want to be in pure bliss for all eternity, but I would like to live, in a nicer place. What would it be like? What would I get to see? The visages of important historical figures, great film stars, ingenious academics race through my mind. I get to go there? To enjoy paradise forever? No kidding. You're not kidding me, are you? What do you think? I'm not good at laughing. Yes! Oh, yes! Oh, God, thank you. Or whoever's in charge here. Joyous tears welled in my eyes. It didn't even bother to wipe them away. After everything I experienced, something amazing finally happens, and it's the greatest thing imaginable. I turned to Memento, bearing a beaming smile. I could at least try and help him, considering the good news he just delivered. But I'm wondering if there's going to be like a third act or second act, Actually, no, it's not what you're thinking, it's worse. So you want to know the meaning of life? I mean, I don't think I could tell you. I wouldn't know where to start. There are people who have dedicated their entire lives to that question. Philosophers who Oh, yes, I've met one. Mr. Hagel. Oh, he was quite an interesting fellow, I must say. I'm not sure who that is. He did not take his reaping quite well, I must admit, and he talked in droves. It must have been an hour before I could convince him to just go away. Interesting man. Shame I could not speak to him again. Or cannot. So, if I tell you what you want to know, then what do I get? Do I get to return? His eyes flicked to the side as he cocked his brow particularly. My apologies, but no. You are deceased, Mori. There is no returning. So, what if I run? Memento stopped for a moment and stared directly at me. His red eyes widened into blood-red moons. You could run to the ends of the universe, but I would still be there to take you away. There's no being able to escape me. No one ever has, or none ever have. And certainly none ever will. He explained flatly. It's simply how it is. For once, his gentle demeanor peeled back and gave way to something outwardly. His voice chilled my bones to the marrow. I swallowed a heap of lead, and receded. Do not mistake me, Mori. It would be unpleasant. The moment had passed, and the chill vanished. It was replaced by a slight, warm smile. It is kind of weird that's like, yeah, it will be unpleasant if you try and run away. And it's like, okay, that's kind of weird. You'd think you'd be, unless he's like, he gets, something bad happens to him if he doesn't do it. You'd think it'd be like, well, if you try to run, I mean, you can go do that. But when you want to go to Eternal Paradise, just come see me, and I'll be over here. If you don't want to go to Eternal Paradise, then, I don't know, fuck off. Anyways, yeah. However, I'll offer you an extended time to make peace with things. Just let me reset my face again, just in case. It's morning now. I must take you by sunset. You have all day to show me. Perhaps you can make peace with your departure. Many would give anything to have one final moment with the ones they loved, to actually say farewell, or to amend a bridge that had long been burned. So, I get to make peace with everything if I tell you what it means to be, well, me? Yes, that's the extent of it. I looked to the overcast sky. A cloud parted, giving way to a sunbeam. Me? I'm the only one who gets to find closure? Not the mother memento tore away from her family. Not the young lover who never got to see their significant other again. Just me, the man who has nothing. Well, here's the thing. Wouldn't they meet their significant other in the afterlife? Unless, for some reason, afterlives are all separate. What? Is there even a close? I turned to face Memento. He shifted around in anticipation, biting his lower lip, and with a knife-shaped fang. Closure, huh? Well, what's a few hours compared to eternity? Fine then, I'll help you. The snaggletooth grin spread across his face. Oh, most excellent. You have my eternal gratitude. He reached out a paw, offering to pull me out of the fountain pool. Need a paw, my friend? I grabbed Memento's paw. For once, there was something tangibly there. It was almost uncanny. He hoisted me up, and I could feel the strength of his forearm, the rush of his fur, and the coolness of his paw. Memento held up my hand for a few seconds, staring intently. Oh, my apologies. You humans are just always so warm. The sun sliced through the heavily overcast sliced through the heavily overcast, and the city was coming to life with activity. Seems like a bit of a grammar error. Children prepared for school, and the adults began commuting to their 9 to 5. Everything was so normal. Life continued unabated. So then, where should we go? I don't know. You don't know? Well, I'm not sure. I want to see what kinds of joys you could explain to me. How about a coffee shop? Joys? Yes, joys. The things that make humans smile. The things that they look back on fondly. They always speak of things like family, loved ones, or material items that gave them great joy. Yeah, I guess family would be good too. If humans did not have these joys, then what reason would they have to be so distraught by my arrival? Oh, let me just check this. Because I'm doing this while family's out of the house and they're saying, okay, how much time do we got? I might need to cut this into 2 bits and then post them together. Joy must be the key, yes? I guess, in a sense, everything we do is in service of maximizing our happiness. Be it money, a loved one, or material items as you described. Oh, so show me. Show you? Yes, show me a joy. You had joy, did you not? No, it was actually one of those emo goth people. Damn, been a long while since I've thought about that. When was I last happy? I skirted around the fountain and sat on the side, facing the city. Mento hopped up beside me, legs crossed and arms leaning on his knees. He stared at me curiously, like a child expecting an answer. When was I last happy? Yeah, you picked the wrong guy for this. Sorry. Obviously, not any time within the last few years. But even before then, before I pushed everyone away, I delved deep, reaching to the past. Moonlit Waltz. It was a play I was in. God, way back when. It was about a star who fell in love with a man on Earth. It was all about their differences, their growing connection, and all that. The star had to return to their home, since she was a star. She had no choice. But before she left, she and the man danced in the starlight one final time. Oh. He was finally fully invested now, his ears perked and eyes wide. If they weren't so bloodshot, I dare say he'd look like Puppy of sorts. And that's what you remember, yes? So show me. Well, I can't really show you. It happened a long time ago. Ah, right. That is true. Mento sprung up from the fountain's edge. In that case, when did this play happen? I'm not sure. I was big into theater during college. Like 10 years ago, maybe? So, around that time. So we time traveling? 10 years. Got it. What are you do... Before I could finish that thought, Memento snapped his fingers, and the entire city whirled into a vortex. What the hell are you doing? Going back. Seeing your memory and all that. Here we go. This must be it. I have to say, a friend of mine says he is or it has played Before Your Eyes. That game the idea of it makes me uncomfortable. It's like, hey, you're watching the scene, and it's using like VR eye tracking thing, and when you close your eyes, it goes to the next scene because you're dead and you're reliving your life. And it's like, that makes me uncomfortable. I remember as a kid being like, I wonder what life's gonna be like 10 years, like being in college, getting a job, maybe having a family, my deathbed. And it's weird seeing myself from the future looking back and my back looking at the future in a way. I don't like that. Anyways, Last night, I met a star. She's the most wonderful star you've seen. Who are you? Your hair, your body. You came from the sky? Yes, I traveled so very far to arrive here, through endless space and past innumerable planets. Many you would never imagined existed. And on my journey, I've arrived here, in this meadow, with you. Don't believe it. This must be a dream. This is Lycoris Community Theater, just as I remember. I stood at the very back of the bleachers, watching the actors from above. What is your name? Oh my fucking lord, is that what I sounded like? Whoa. I turned to face Memento, who was sitting half-faced into an elderly woman. Can you get up? Oh, I didn't even notice. Apologies, ma'am. This is your theater? His eyes were alight with awe at the half-assed set and poor lighting. It was. It's a little derelict. I think they were renovating while the show was in production. I see. Memento walked through a couple of seats towards the edge stage. Come on, I want to get a closer look. What? One sec. Nothing I could do to stop him, I guess. I took the central staircase instead, careful to avoid phasing through anyone. The scene transitioned, and the set shifted. You tell stories like this? But nothing's changed. Wasn't this the same place as before? Right, nothing's changed or something's changed. Plays require some suspension of disbelief. Like here, we're supposed to be back inside a house. You can see over there the technicians moving some of the furniture on set. Oh, so it's up to your imagination then? I suppose. And is this what gives humans the joy? These playthings? Well, if you're a good enough actor, then perhaps. On cue, a character ran in, opening the door in an overdramatic, frantic fashion. Father, you would not believe what just happened. Oh, brother. Memento pointed gleefully. That's you! Yeah, sure is. So tell me more. About plays, all these theatrics and stuff. Oh, you must have been so happy, yes? Well, I suppose. Happy? Was I happy here? I glanced at the character who was telling the story of his chance encounter with the star. The delivery, the enunciation, the stuttering. God, how did I even get this part? But I looked into my own eyes. There was passion. There was excitement. This must have been the first showing. I remember staying up all night, butterflies fluttering like crazy. The nerves, the anxiety, and then finally going on stage to perform. Poor kid, he has no idea. No idea what comes next. Look at him, so full of aspiration, so full of dreams. I wanted to become a star on Broadway, to show the world my talent and my passion. Yeah, perhaps it was doomed from the start. What do you mean? This kid had a dream, Memento. Something he clung to harder than anything else. Something that drove him to walk forward every day. Amid all that shit in school, amid the pain of other circumstances. And is that what joy is? A dream? It could be. And what happens if that dream is impossible? I bite my lip and look downwards. Now, that's the real problem, isn't it? But you look so happy. Because I was a dumb kid who thought I could make it. I grew up on Julie Andrews and Fred Astaire. It's kind of sad looking at it. But you are happy here, yes? So, how could that be sad? It's a crapshoot memento. A game of luck that was never in the cards for me. No money to be made in it, as my father was so kind to point out. So, what did you pursue instead? It was something he insisted was the safer bet. Maybe he was right. The play concluded. Being incorporated incorporeal did have its benefits since I didn't get tired from standing around. While I moaned every time I had a line, Memento's tail wagged uncontrollably. Death's a cute little puppy dog, huh? I would have thought. Instead of, an attractive wolf guy that whistles and has a Brazilian accent. Still, at least someone enjoyed my acting. Wait, was he Brazilian? Anyways, it was a simple story. A performance spanning an hour and a half, tops. A story about romance that was never meant to be. Memento seemed most interested by the star. Kept asking questions about her, like, why is she so reluctant to love the boy back? Or, why does the boy love her so much in the first place? At one point, he even took the stage and wandered around as an intense scene played out between the star and my character's father. I reflexively yelled at him to get down, but then I remembered that we were merely reliving a memory. It took me a moment to figure out what he was doing. Amenta stood by the star as she argued with my father. He mimicked her affectuations and tried mouthing her lines. There was a moment there the star paused. She stumbled over a line. For a second, the theater was still. Even Memento had his eyes trained heavily on her. The peering gaze of the audience, the mounting pressure of that singular moment. Though it was merely a memory, I felt my heart stop, just as it did all those years ago. She stumbled again, then again. But they were not mistakes. She was doing it on purpose. In the original script, there's no stumbling, but here, she took her mistake and rolled with it. Her voice became coarse, and she stuttered a response to the father's angered tone. God, she was amazing. Memento hopped off after this and sidled over beside me. Sidled? Much harder than it looks, yeah? And you have to be in front of the whole crowd? Not sure if I could do that. I'm only ever seen by one person at a time. But a girl, the star, she was wonderful. Yeah, she sure is. I stared at the star wistfully, to hear her voice again. For so long. Mori? Yeah? Are you alright there? Yes, I'm fine. Before long, the final scene had arrived. Back at the first set, there was a whole play again. The field dimmed a soft blue. My dear, please. There must be another way. The star looked silent and bit her lip. Unlike me, she was so natural, her acting subtle yet effective. She betrayed reticence with a slight glance to the ground. Whatever. Anxiety with the beginning of a stifled sentence. What was I doing with someone like her. Wait, you have taught me many things, my love. But I'm a star, and a star must continue its journey across the sky. I know, it's painful, my dear, but it is my nature, my purpose for being. It's just how it is. My character collapsed, clawing at his face. Honestly, that cry acting wasn't nearly as bad as I remember. The star walked forward, but my character grabbed her by the waist. Just one more thing. There was a hush as the characters faced each other. I haven't taught you how to dance yet. The star's eyes flickered, mouth held agape. No, suppose not. I placed a hand on her waist. Just one more, if you must go. Like this? Like this? My character shook its head. No, like this. Whoa. God, she was wonderful. I remembered every step I took was painstakingly choreographed, but for her, it came so effortlessly. She didn't deserve to be stuck with an oaf like me. Memento swayed to and fro with the music, though his movements were certainly much less refined. The actors twirled, and in response, the wolf twirled as well. A bit too much, and he tumbled to the ground. He laughed it off and continued staring at the dance. This was the pride of the show, the climax, the part everyone was waiting for. I think that could be the thumbnail. So, what do you think? It was very good. Oops, sorry. I mentally was doing two things at once. The end of the dance. My goodness. Memento swayed back and forth, mimicking the motions. Could you show me? Show you the moves? He nodded happily. Well, this happened over a decade ago. I don't think I could remember the choreography. Memento's ears dropped in disappointment. Did this all answer your question? Well, somewhat. I'm still unsure what you mean by dream. A joy cannot just be that, can it? What about a sunset? Or the smell of a pretty flower? Well, I suppose, but... Oh, or belly rubs. You get belly rubs? Sometimes, when I reap a dog lover, they ask me for one last pet. I must admit, they are quite pleasing. I did always want a dog, a nice and fluffy one. They're amazing creatures, so intelligent and affectionate. Like me? Memento said with an innocent look on his face. Well, you certainly got the look down. Alas, wasn't meant to be. Too much work, my dad would say. Too much responsibility. So, a living pal who is by your side? Is that a source of joy? Well, yes. I suppose that could be a source of happiness as well. Well, I hope I can suffice that role for now. Well, you're doing adequately. But back to the whole joy thing. They're, fleeting. I mean, isn't that life? I suppose. But those are different. A pretty flower, a sunset, or belly rubs, or gratifying in the moment. But ambition, however, that's a go for the long term, perhaps your role in life. Some get to achieve it, while others, I watched a lot of musical movies during my childhood. Lots of big dancers, singers, and thespians from their 50s and 60s. I remember staring at the screen in awe of what I was witnessing. The colors of the films, the passion in their voices, the movements. They were utterly enchanting. That feeling of captivation blossomed inside me. It made me want to do the same to others. To stand on a fancy stage somewhere, in the lens of a big camera, and to broadcast my talents to all the world. I so desperately wanted that dream. I wanted people to be mesmerized by me. I wanted it so badly. It was my raison d'être. Not sure how to further answer your question. Sorry. No, it's fine. I think you illustrated it quite well, Mori. Well, let's just get this over with soon so I can enjoy eternity. They probably got much better plays up there. Know if I'll get to meet Janine Kelly or someone? I could spend all of eternity listening from their greats. I learned from the greats. Well, let's not be hasty now. It's the last time you're ever going to see Earth. I would suggest you appreciate it before you're gone. I was about to respond when Memento's ears perked up. What's that? He faced the stage. The cast had finished doing their bows and returning backstage. Memento was focused on the girl who played the star. She had dark skin and braided black hair that tumbled down her shoulder length. Her name was Stella. If this is my memory, then I looked closer at Stella as she walked off stage. Her eyes looked red. The lights caught the glisten of tears. Past me, followed right behind her. What's going on here? There. Mento leaped onto the stage and followed the two. Hey, wait! The wolf followed Stella and my past self backstage. Now Stella was audibly weeping. Past Mori lay a hand on her shoulder, and she turned to face him. Come on, let's go somewhere quieter. The other castmates shot her concerned glances, but past Morty shielded her from view and led her to the changing room. He didn't show up. Just shade my face. Come on, he must have been in the crowd. Did you see your mom? Stella nodded. Mom was there, but he promised me. No matter what happened with Mom, he said he'd see me here. Stella. I just want him to be here, like before. Memento sidled up past me, looking curiously at the weeping girl. What's happening? Stella knelt down and buried her face in her hands. Why? They have to... I know what you're going through, Stella. But never ever blame yourself. It was their decision. He never did enjoy these plays. Always said it was a waste of time. Maybe he's right? You know what? Your dad's a piece of garbage. Abandoning you like that? Crushing your dreams? What kind of parent does that? Leaving you to suffer in the wake of their own issues? They're awful, scum of the earth. Forget about them. Stella looked shocked and stared at my past self unblinking. I'm sorry, just forget about that. Please, stay strong. You're an amazing actress. You'll do great things. He knelt beside Stella and offered her a hug. She nodded, and within a moment, they were locked in a tight embrace. Memento's ears perked, his eyes wide with curiosity as he approached the two. A beat slipped by, then past me, let go of Stella, and stood back up. I'll be here if you need me. Do you need some time alone? Stella nodded. The past self approached the door to join the rest of the cast. Just as his fingers wrapped around the knob, he froze in place. What'd you do? Pause the memory. Why? You were leaving. Yeah? And? Memento turned to Stella, who was still kneeling. He approached her, looking intently at her face. What was that? Why was she weeping? I mean, I don't see how it's much of your business. Minto turned to me confused. But these are mortal affairs, yes? Well, I guess you're right on that front. So, why'd you hesitate? There's no reason not to. Still, I'd feel like a piece of shit for talking about it, even after I'm dead. Why? It's just because I'd feel guilty regardless, even if it really doesn't matter anymore. Guilty? He looked away from me for a moment, almost as if the word had caught him off guard. Are you familiar with this emotion, Memento? It's when you feel ashamed of how your own actions have affected others, be it lying about something or pushing someone who cared about you away. Memento stared blankly for a few seconds. I see. Interesting. Immediately, as if to veer right away from the subject, he turned to Stella. You embraced this girl. Did you love her? She was a close friend, but no. I would not say I was romantically interested. I'm more into men, actually. Though I never found anyone. No one? Yeah, just how it goes, I guess. Some were taken, while for others, it was just the wrong time. Would you have liked someone? A significant other? Someone to whom you could deliver a lovely kiss, like you did at the end of the show? Well, it sure would have been nice. In this romance, I have ferried off many who had romantic connections in their lives. It's the biggest source of grief I find. Could you explain this romance to me? It's a common thread among these I've taken away. Well, you don't need to be with someone to be happy. I know plenty of people content with being on their own, and for them, that was perfectly fine. But did you want to be with someone? It doesn't really matter what I wanted. Now does it? I see. I apologize. Memento pushed his snout close to Stella's ear. The wolf then threw a pair of fuzzy arms around her static body. I hope things turn out well for you, Miss. I hope you don't see me too soon. I'm hearing the door close, and I think that's a good time to call it. So anyways, end of this quick look. I think I might continue this, actually. So anyways, please comment, because I like comments, don't you like, dislike, tips, otherwise, if you like me, YouTube and likes to grow, then please like, subscribe, and share the videos. Happy growing, please don't survey your animals, controlling pet population. Yeah, I think we'll do a side play of this. Anyways, until next time, quick look. Yeah, it'll be a surprise next week. Me, Game Wolf 6. Some other game. Thanks and see ya.